Hi, and thank you for joining us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and also consider other important aspects of being self-employed, running a small business, working for yourself. So one of the things that we've been asked quite frequently recently is with the onset of the digital era and our accounts all being kept electronically, do you still need to keep your paperwork? So before I talk about that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to this information if you should need to, as well as being able to find other information that we have available on a whole host of different topics, all aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. So back then to keeping your paperwork if you are holding your accounts digitally. So of course, with the digital era upon us and a lot of people already making the move towards digital software, this enables all of our bank statements to be imported into the software. It enables all of our receipts to be attached to the transaction within the software. So the question that we've been asked a lot is, if the information is held in the software, do I still need to keep the paperwork? Do I need to keep the bank statements? Do I need to keep the receipts? So the first thing to consider is you will know from other videos and other information that we've provided that in most cases, most of your paperwork you are required to keep for 6 years after the end of the financial year that it relates to. So in effect, 7 years would cover most things. So that is your responsibility to keep that paperwork. Now, we've talked, again, we won't go into detail about what paperwork specifically, because we've covered that. And today we're really focusing on the information that is electronically held within your software. So if, as long as you can access that information, if you're required to, for example, a HMRC inspection, then you have kept the records. So that is fine, but there are a couple of things that we need to consider. So for bank statements, for example, the bank feed may not be presented in the same way as the bank statement, the actual hard copy. So you may not be able to show the information. It may not have a running balance, for example, in your software. You may not be able to sort of pull a month's worth of a statement in the same way that you can do with your bank statement. But as long as the information is there, that's fine. And the same goes for your receipts and your purchase invoices and your sales invoices too. But the thing that I will come back to is, it is your responsibility to keep those records, and they need to be accessible. So with that, the big thing that we need to consider is, for those records to be accessible, you need to have an active license with that software provider. And you are reliant on them for access to your records. So a lot of people do determine that actually that they do, as it's their responsibility, they want to keep the hard copies so that they are always available, and so that you are in control of covering your responsibilities to retain your records. So of course there's a few things to consider. If there was some sort of problem with the software, of course there's no sort of backup involved. So then potentially your records, your receipts, your bank statements could be lost. And that wouldn't be a sufficient reason for you not having them available, because it is your responsibility. But the important thing that I ask people to consider is the reliance on having the license. This is the most significant thing, because you may, for example, decide that the software you're using is no longer for you. You may want to change your software provider. You may decide that you're not going to trade anymore. You may close your business, but you still will be required to keep those records. And so therefore you are reliant on having that active license, which could mean paying a subscription. Of course, when you get to that point, you could go back through and download all the records, but that of course would be a big job, and depending on the provider of the software, it's not always so straightforward to be able to do that. So I would personally suggest that, as it is your responsibility to ensure that you not only keep but have access to your financial records, that you do keep the hard copies. So hopefully this helps you to understand the reason why I suggest this. And at least in any case, it gives you the factors that you need to be thinking about. So thank you very much for watching. As I mentioned, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. Goodbye.